So I don't want to claim a particular label for Verité in terms of being a do-tank or a think tank, because I know that think tanks operate in a whole spectrum. But I understand that Verité has done things that are not normal for think tanks to do. And I think the difference is around, if I can sort of use an example from science, being in the discovery space like a physicist, for instance, and being in the solution space like an engineer, for instance, who has to actually innovate and design and find new solutions, but is not necessarily designing the physics of the solutions that he deploys. And I think that is the range that there are for think tanks, and Verités is very much in the solution space. We try to move people from opinion to information, from information to knowledge, by which we mean understanding or reasoning, the capacity to process information and make good sense of it. But we also look to move people from that understanding or knowledge to what in sociology we call wisdom. And wisdom is not the man from the mountain coming and uttering a profound word, but wisdom is the ability to function or live according to what you know. And those are the three movements we attempt to see in society through our investment in the solution space. And that, I would say, is how Verité is distinguished. And if I give you an example on one of the things where we saw that happen, when Sri Lanka had a problem with India in terms of bottom trawling, we moved forward to look at that problem not as a problem of Indian trawlers having incursions into Sri Lankan waters and crossing territorial boundaries, but as a problem for the environment and the seabed. And our solution was to ban bottom trawling in that place of the Indian Ocean. And that led to an understanding of the problem in a fresh way with the information we provided, but also legislation that we helped draft that got passed in Parliament, banning bottom trawling and solving the problem that India and Sri Lanka had in its foreign relations. I think the critical advice I would give them is that traditionally think tanks have depended on access to power, political power and politicians in order to generate the kind of change that comes from the solutions or ideas that they bring about. That tradition has existed in countries where political power is stable and consistent. Verité has developed in a country where political power does not have those characteristics. And we have learned that the way to influence is to really generate a public conversation and build public understanding that then influences through the democratic process political action, and building a communications team that can effectively communicate research and writing and presenting research in a way that builds that public understanding and builds that public conversation is a critical learning for us that I would advocate to others. And the lack of stability in politics, by the way, is becoming more real in other parts of the world as well.